Hello, everybody. Oh my gosh, my timer is still up on the screen. Go away. Go away, timer. Okay, there we go. How's everybody doing? What's cracking? Once again, our production value is through the roof over here on Red Green Junior TV. Hi, everybody. Holy cow, you guys are already popping off in chat here. Who do I see typing here? Saints Angel, how are you doing? Talking Toady, how are you? Bundy Chick, all the way from Australia, what's going on? The Best Goat, Jake Straw Walker, hello. Jason, Paladin Frost, our resident command expert, how are you doing? Zuchin Un 20, what's going on? Raslan, also from the other side of the world, how are you? Christopher Gamblin, how's it going? Bearskin Rug, nice to see you. Zri Praxis, what's going on? Holy cow, Crookery, how are you doing? Do I seem a little more orange tonight? I must have been the tanning salon I went to today, because that's what I do a lot. Nice to see you all. Thank you all for being here. We got a fun show ahead. Oh, Jason, thank you for the bits. That's very kind of you. I'm not sure why that's not making any noise, but look at all those bits flying. Some of them even went into the cup. That's pretty cool. Thank you very, very much. Rich, how are you doing? Nice to see you. Yamp44. Becca Bugs, nice to see you too. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, tonight we are going to start our first kind of foray into going through all the seasons one by one, doing episode 1. So up till now, we've been just doing season 1, got through a few of them, and I just kind of felt like, let's start moving ahead. I think, there's lots of red-green bits and themes people want to see. I want to see a word game. I want to see an expert. I want to see this. So I thought that we would switch it up. We're going to do season 2, episode 1 tonight, which means we got to watch the season 2 episode. Sorry. But then next week will be season 3, episode 1. The week after, season 4, episode 1, and so on. And we can kind of move through the seasons. If we kept going at the pace we were at, I think it would be about 6 years before we got through. We got to the last season, so I thought this way we're going to get through it in a few months instead of a few years, and maybe that will be a little bit better. But yeah, welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. We got some announcements to make. We got some amazing mail call stuff you guys sent me, as usual, is fantastic. And then I've got some stuff to talk about the episode tonight. It's season 2, so we got to talk about that, obviously, and how we're going to get through it together. But before we do that, we got to call this meeting into order. So if you know the actions, please follow at home.
All right.
Quando, Omni, Flunkus, Moritati. And please bow your heads for the man's prayer.
I'm a man, but I can change if I have to, I guess.
Okay. We are now officially beginning. Hey, Marcus Spears, 2 months in a row. You resubbed? Marcus, if we fool you once, shame on us, but if we fool you twice, shame on you, dude. I appreciate the resub. Thank you very much. Very kind of you. Wow, appreciate that. We're into the forbidden season that people do not mention, and while I found it not too bad myself, Bundy Chick, I appreciate that. Season 2 actually is pretty good. I hate to always throttle it. It's my preference is not this season, but I agree. Someone once said that about pizza, I think, a comic, when pizza's good, it's really good, and when pizza's bad, it's still pretty good. And that's how I feel about the Red Green Show. The great episodes are great, and the off episodes are still pretty darn good, so we'll take it. Getting strange looks from the wife again, Battery? All right, careful with that. Careful with that. All right, we got some new commands tonight. If you haven't been on the stream for a little while, you can type into the chat !commands. And we got a few new ones because, on the block episode streams, we're already up to season 5. Next week is season 6. So we've had to add like word game command, experts command, because of the kind of different things that we're seeing on there. So don't be afraid to use those commands over the course of the night. Try out ones that you haven't seen. If it's your first time here tonight, go ahead and type in chat. Just say me, or it's my first time, or whatever. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate that. Jason says that the stream is brand new. Thank you for being here, Jason. That's awesome. Flail DR says first time on as well. Well, thank you. I'm glad you found us. Fanatic of Racing, how are you? Nice to see you. How's the beard coming along? Says season 2 is like pineapple on pizza. Some people like it, and some others hate it. Yeah, maybe. I'm hoping people still think it's okay. First time for the start of an episode, came in halfway through before. Okay, very cool. Well, and C. Canup, first time on, but a long time fan. Cool. Well, if you take a look, and thank you for the follow as well. If it is your first time here, go ahead. If you're on a desktop, I don't know how this works on phones. I don't think I've ever really watched Twitch on a phone before. But if you're on a desktop, you can scroll down, and below me there's like buttons, like wooden buttons that, you know, have information and text beneath them that you can read about the channel and that kind of stuff. One of them is like a TV station list. And so something we're trying to do on the channel is get a sense of where you guys watched the show when you first saw it. And so we have a list of stations. Some of them are Canadian. There's like CBC is on there, and Global's on there, and CHCH TV is on there. We have someone watch from like the Middle East, so we have like a Middle East channel on there. There's a few from Australia, but then obviously there's a whole bunch of PBS stations. So if you want to take a minute and just kind of scroll down, look at those PBS station list. If you watched us on a station that's not listed down there, go ahead and type it in chat, and I will, when I rewatch the video later, I'll look for those new ones and try to add them to the list, so we get kind of an accurate list of where you guys are, where you're watching from, and kind of a shout out to the PBS stations that ran the show and that you guys watched it at. So yeah, I have the Red Green theme song stuck in my head pretty much every week now since you started streaming. Bearskin, I know. I hear you, man. I hear your pain. I mean, I feel your joy. You meant joy, right? Joy. Yeah, not pain. PBS Fort Wayne. Yeah, WFWA. Very nice. Indiana. I think my brother and I went with my dad to South Bend. We got to do like a tour of Notre Dame through like a PBS station down there. I don't think that's Fort Wayne. But is there like a South Bend one or one closer to South Bend? I don't recall what station it was. But on one of my dad's like trips down there with PBS specials and pledge-a-thons and stuff, we got to go down and get like a tour of Notre Dame University, which was freaking awesome. IPBS in small town Iowa. Oh, Zach, how are you doing? Yeah, Iowa. Awesome. Huge supporter of the show. Toledo, Ohio battery. Very nice. Oh, that place, South Bend. South Bend is northwest and I'm northeast. Okay. Cool. Yeah, so go ahead and check out that PBS list. Also, I wanted to say, The Best Goat says, first timer but watching Red Green since 1991. OG Possum Lodge member. Thanks for being here, The Best Goat. Appreciate that. If you ever have any questions about the show or stuff like that, the whole reason we do this stream is so you guys can interact with each other and with me, and so go ahead and throw your questions out there. If you do have a question for me in chat, again, for you people who are maybe your first time in chat today, you'll already see in chat some people are putting @RedGreenJuniorTV in their comment. When I read chat, that @RedGreenJuniorTV line is bolded. And so it really pops out to me in chat, and I see that that's something someone is asking me specifically, as opposed to just making a statement to everybody else in the chat room. So if you have a question for me or something you want me to see, make sure to put @RedGreenJuniorTV in the same line as what you typed. That would be very helpful. Yeah, so we were, a few times now we've been talking about, some of you guys saw last week we did a Handyman Corner marathon, which went over really well. We're already looking ahead to what's our next sort of segment marathon going to be, an adventure film one. We're thinking of a Ranger Gord one. We're thinking of a word game one. Lots of stuff like that. But also something that's kept coming up from fans as we've been doing this stream for the last few weeks is we want to watch the movie. We want to watch Duct Tape Forever. So Max has outputted for me a digital version of Duct Tape Forever. So I have it as a file now, and I'm looking to do like a Friday night movie night in April. So I'm looking at maybe Friday. It feels to me like Friday the 13th of April. Somehow that just fits. That's looking like a good Friday for me. So so just curious if you guys would be interested in coming back and watching on a Friday night. Get some popcorn. You know, we can run. My brother did like a behind the scenes of the movie special while the movie was being taped. It's a little less than an hour. We could watch that, and we could watch the movie. Maybe we could watch that on the Wednesday before, and then we could watch the movie on the Friday or something like that. Anyways, just a thought, just an idea. I think it would be fun to kind of get together and watch the movie together and hear different people, hear the cast thoughts on it or whatever. My dad, I'm sure, will give me some information to give you guys, and I think that would be fun. So anyways, yeah, that's it for the announcements, I think, for now. I've noticed there's a couple of tier 2 subscribers. I don't even know really what that was. So I looked it up, and there's people who have paid extra money to be a tier 2 subscriber. And I noticed that we're allowed to have an emote for them. So if you are here tonight and you are a tier 2 subscriber to the channel, first of all, thank you so much. That's super generous of you. Thank you. And I have submitted a Harold face emote for you guys to Twitch so that tier 2 subs can use that as our secondary emote in channel. So it's pending. Hopefully it gets approved soon. And anyone in chat who's a tier 2 subscriber can use that. Yeah, dinner and a movie. That's what I'm saying. Duct Tape Forever. Yeah, you guys think that's a good idea? Okay, sweet. Depends on what time you're doing it. Yeah, okay. Jason Red Green is your honorary dad? Nice. ATF Gaming 19, just subscribe with Twitch Prime. Thank you very much for the subscription. You can now use our emote in channel, our red green tape emote. So you may want a third emote made. Yeah, I know, at some point, right? We're hoping, you guys have been so great showing up and watching that our viewership is getting up there, and we're hoping to make partners soon, and then we can have some more emotes for people, you know? Okay. Well, that's enough of me making announcements. It's time for our mail call.
It's mail call.
Okay, you guys have sent in some pretty sweet stuff this week. I don't know what this is doing. What that's doing there. Okay, we'll get rid of that. I don't know why that's doing that. Okay. Firstly, this was given to me on Facebook by a man named David. And this was David. He already's got kind of a red-green sort of thing going on. But then over St. Patrick's Day, he decided to go full red-green. And we got the green beard and the red shirt and the beard and all the other stuff. So David, looking sweet. Looking sweet, man. Thank you for the picture. Next, we have Lee, also from Facebook, sent this in. And I tweeted this picture out today. I think I did. I think that's pretty sweet ride. I don't know if Lee found that on the internet or if he actually saw that in a parking lot. But when I first saw this picture, I don't know about you guys, but the first sound that came to my mind was, "Get to the chopper!" Right? Get to the chopper! Yeah, come on. I totally would have had no problem mowing the lawn as a teenager if I was able to use that chopper, baby. That thing is awesome. It's from Reddit, Rich? Okay, cool. Next up was Wes, who sent this up on Facebook as well. It says, archaeologists discover history's first redneck mummy. Duct tape. So that's pretty awesome as well. That could easily be a Possum Lodge mummy, obviously. That's a lot of duct tape. That would keep pretty well. So thank you for that, Wes. Also, now, the next one, if you were watching the stream yesterday, we streamed Season 5. And in Season 5, Hap Shaughnessy, our tall tale teller at the Lodge, claimed to be a member of the Rolling Stones when Keith Richards was sick, kind of back in the day. And this fan sent this to me, Michael, saying he had, video proof that this was a true thing. And so he sent me this. And I think that's pretty compelling evidence. There's Hap playing on stage with the Rolling Stones. I don't know about the scale of the head to the rest of the body, but maybe Hap was telling the truth on that one. I don't know. All right, and next we have now Jordan, you may remember, sent us that red-green theme song on our first stream, and he sent us a few pictures over the weeks. He's a real big fan of the show, artistic, and he's got lots of talent and also knows the show very well. He sent me this picture. Now, if you've been a fan for a while, you may recall very many years ago our memberships that you could buy at the store. www.redgreenshop.com, still can, used to come with bumper stickers that said, "I'd rather be at Possum Lodge." So Jordan had one back in the 90s. Eventually he got a new car and he got a new one. We didn't sell them anymore, but he found one on eBay. And then he got another new car and he said, forget buying these bumper stickers. I'm going to make my own license plate custom cover that says, "I'd rather be at Possum Lodge." So Jordan, that is pretty flippin' sweet. Thank you for sending that picture. And obviously I whited out Jordan's license plate so none of you fellow KERA Texas people would hunt him down. And then lastly, from our mail call, our very own Fractal Farmer, who won one of our giveaways a couple weeks ago. He won an autographed picture from season 15 of a few of the cast members, and I mailed it to him the next day, and apparently it arrived, and Fractal sent us this. So there's a picture of Fractal in his garage. You can see the pegboard and the shelves of oil and various things behind him. He's holding up the picture to prove that, yes, I did actually send it. And he's doing his best Winter of our Discount Tent red-green impersonation with the Army surplus gear and the goggles and all that good stuff. So, yeah, Fractal, thanks for sending that in. Now, he was careful in his email to me when he sent this to me. He said, make sure you mention that that's not my actual hair. That is a hat I'm wearing. But I got to tell you, Fractal, if that was your hair, this picture would be 100 times better. But it's still pretty sweet, the fact that it's a hat. Okay. All right, we are going to get over. Yeah, he nailed it, right? That picture was pretty sweet. Don't believe it's his hair. Now, at the end of the stream tonight, we're also going to do another giveaway. I'm going to give somebody a very special prize at the end of the stream. So stick around. You're going to want to be around for the draw on this one. It's going to be pretty awesome. Fractal says Joe Dirt. That's your Joe Dirt. Listen, I'd be jealous of any hair. So, you're looking good in my opinion. Jeno says, hey, this is my first stream. Glad I caught it. I'm 22 years old. I've been a fan since I was 6. It helped me when my dad died back in 2002. I watched it on CPTV. I now host my own cable access TV show and would love to interview you and your dad someday. Jeno, that would be awesome. Send me an email, redgreenjuniortv@gmail.com, and we'll chat about that. Thanks, man. That's very cool. Okay, so the episode tonight, has anyone in chat not seen a season 2 episode, by the way? Just put me in chat if you've never seen season 2. Some of these people come late to the show. They've only seen season 5 and above or something. Is anyone kind of new to season 2? I'm going to throw that out there. Anybody new? Yeah, I see Darzer maybe hasn't seen season 2. Because season 2 is a different animal than the rest of the show. I have no idea. I see what's on TV. Okay, fair enough. So, my way of explaining season 2 to people is for those who haven't seen it, don't know season 2 very well, or aren't sure if they've seen it. The way I kind of describe season 2 to people is it's a bit of the black sheep of the Red Green 15 season family. It's not bad. Some people love it, but for a lot of people, it's it's kind of like the one of these things is not like the other season. It's very different. It's the most different season than any other season of the show in terms of what the season was like before it and what the season was like after it. My way of looking at it is like if I needed a flask of my favorite drink to get me through, a regular Red Green episode, this would be the flask that I would use. Okay? For seasons 1 and 3 to 15, this is the right flask. For season 2 episode, this is the correct flask. Okay? So season 1 flask, 3 to 15 flask, season 2 flask. Okay? So it just sometimes requires a little bit extra patience and and a little bit extra, energy. Okay? So I asked my dad, I said, look, we're going to do this is the first time we're going to live host a season 2 episode. A lot of people ask, we see that season 2 is different. Why is it so different? And so he sent me an email and said, you can share this with the stream. This is kind of the backstory from his perspective about why the season is different and why it looks the way it does. So I'm going to read this email to you. And then we're just gonna jump into the episode. I have one point where I'm gonna pause it to talk a bit over the episode because I have a couple other things to say about it, referencing some of the things that Pat McKenna said in the interview last week. And then other than that, I'm gonna try to let the episode run. I'm gonna be watching chat if people have questions for me. And then we'll put that at Red Green Junior TV by your question. I'll pause it periodically and answer questions. But this is just to kind of set you up for why season 2 is so different. So this is what my dad said. Past that, you guys. When Morag and I started at CHCH, so this is back in like the mid-late 70s with Smith & Smith, okay? And Morag is my mom. That's my mom's name, my dad's Steve. When Morag and I started at CHCH, it was owned by Selkirk Communications, which had merged with Southam Newspapers. By the mid-'80s, both of those industries were in decline. Independent TV stations were losing money everywhere. At a Selkirk Southam board meeting in the late 80s, they decided to demote CHCH, so that's the channel it started on, CHCH in Hamilton, to demote CHCH president Doug Gale and fire the general manager Frank DeNardis. A guy from the board, Brian Foley, took over. His reign was a disaster. The Southam folks lost faith and put their shares up for sale. They were purchased by McLean Hunter, a Canadian media company. You guys know McLean's. I think that's the same one. Anyways, buying those shares gave them control of CHCH. They had an executive they didn't know what to do with, named Steve Harris, so they made him president of CHCH. Well, you don't know what to do with a guy, you make him president of the TV station that's not making any money anyways. And he became my new boss. So this was 1989, and I had a contract to do the first season of Red Greens. This is before even the first season of the show. It was supposed to start airing in September of 1989. Now that's news to me, because I know the show didn't actually start airing until 1990. But according to my dad, it was supposed to start airing 1989, and he started making it winter of 1989. Instead, the new general manager, Reg McGuire, called me and said they were going to delay airing the show until September 1990. So it was supposed to air September 1989. Now they're not going to air it till a year later, which is not good. But would honor all the other contractual conditions. This was not good news because it meant they wouldn't need any more episodes until the fall of 1991. That would have been the end of the series, as I would not have been able to keep it alive. Then in March of 1990, so now 6 months before they said they were going to start airing it, they suddenly started airing the show. I thought I was off the hook. They ran it for 5 weeks and then stopped. I called over for an explanation. They said the show had done so well that they had decided to save it until the fall. So the show was doing so well in March that they pulled it off the air to save it for the fall. I set up a meeting with Steve Harris to find out how I'm supposed to keep the show alive. He told me he'd be willing to renew the show a year ahead of when he needed it, so this is now for a season 2, as long as I made some changes. He wanted Red Green to play a reduced role in the show, and he insisted the format needed to be sitcom rather than themed sketch. I could see no other way to keep the show alive, so I made the changes. That's why season 2 is so different. I did my part and was awarded a contract to do season 3. However, in the spring of 1993, I received a conference call in my car from CH telling me they were canceling the show and would not honor the current contract. It's a long story how we got from there to a renewal at Bayton, which also came with restrictions, but the bottom line was I could eventually switch the show back to the format I wanted. So, number one, the show was supposed to start a year before it ever did, which I didn't know. And then, once again, you have an upper management person holding the creative person over a financial barrel to get them to make changes. The person does, and the result is season 2, which is good, but it's not quite the rest of the seasons. Okay. Gino says, is this the correct email? redgreenjuniortv at, and the rest is probably blocked because it thinks it's a link, at gmail.com. That's the correct email address. Yeah. Thanks, Gino. Send me something. Anyone else has any fan mail they want to see their picture up next week with a green beard or some cool motorcycle or whatever? Please send me stuff. Facebook, Twitter at redgreenjuniortv, or email redgreenjuniortv at gmail.com. Okay, let's get this episode started. And then we'll pause it in just a little bit. Okay, here we go, everyone. Season 2, episode 1. And see how we do.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, senior citizens, viewers everywhere, and all ships at sea and dry dock boats and boats sitting on concrete blocks in marine museums. It's time again for the most exciting outdoor show since Carnivorous Carl's Forest Frolic, bringing you the best in entertainment show involving trees. It's the one and the lonely Red Green Show, starring the man who brought you like the acting to the woods and wood to his acting. Here he is, the bubbly, and irreparable Red Green.
Thank you, Harold. Thank you, and welcome to Possum Lodge, the place that proves that nature hates a vacuum. We never use one. And speaking of vacuums, Harold here is our producer, director, and all-around button pusher.
And not just any buttons. This is my vertical flange, and this is my reverse pinwheel. It's called an ADO machine.
ADO, that spells ado, as in much ado about nothing. Anyway, it's been kind of a typical week up at the lodge. Old man Sedgwick woke up the other day only to find out that his pants had been stolen while he was sleeping. So anyway, he crawled up out of the ditch, dusted himself off, started hitchhiking back to the lodge. But by golly, he was having a tough time getting a ride because people just are hesitant to stop for a guy who's got no pants on. It's just the kind of world that we live in now. You know, people are so darn suspicious. And then when a car would stop, old man Sedgwick was a little suspicious. I mean, who would stop with a guy with no pants on? Plus the fact that he was a little bit confused and he'd forgotten which finger he used to hitchhike with. Luckily, Stinky Peterson was coming by, and he picked him up and drove him up to the lodge here. But by golly, old man Sedgwick is pretty upset about the loss of his favorite red pants.
You know, I think I might be a little bit more upset about waking up in a ditch and not having any idea as to how I got there.
Well, I'm sure he was, too, the first time it happened. Anyway, old man Sedgwick says that we got to, tighten up lodge security now.
Well, I agree with him on that, because it's terrible around here, Uncle Red. I'm afraid to leave my valuable TV equipment. There's no locks in the doors, there's no doorknobs on the doors. In some places, there's no doors where there's supposed to be doors.
Well, Harold, up here we have an expression. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if it is broke, don't fix it. Anyway, Noel Christmas is our head of security, and of course, old man Sedgwick has put a bug in his ear, so he's going to be tightening everything up, and hopefully it won't get in the way of the great, great, fabulous, super-duper extravaganza show we got for you this week. Take it away, Harold.
You're talking about this show? Okay.
Oh, wait. Okay. We got the mic working. Yeah. The mark has to come off and the mic has to come on. Those are the two things that I got to do. I'm in now. You can hear me. Okay. So I just wanted to pause it there for a quick second because, first of all, also one thing I wanted to mention was Pat McKenna last week in his interview said that in these early seasons, a lot of times he had scripts hidden around the set, number one. And so I wanted to challenge people to be watching the floor, the couches, the chairs, for where has Pat hidden a script for this particular scene. That was one thing. And then another thing that he mentioned was how Red and Harold in these early seasons had microphones that were corded, cabled. They weren't wireless mics yet. And so they couldn't walk around as much as they could later on. So you notice that first scene, how still they both were. Harold didn't even walk over to Red, which was a pretty easy move that he usually made. They're very static, very still compared to the later seasons when they can run all over the set. Okay, so for this scene, we're going to see a couple more. It's kind of our first introduction to some of the new castmates. And I just want to read this to you again. I asked my dad. Well, actually, before I get to my dad, I'm going to show you. Let's listen again to what Pat said about season 2 because it kind of introduces this as well. So last week when I interviewed Pat, I asked him about his memories of season 2, and this is what he had to say.
Season 2 was like standing in the middle of a carnival on a Saturday night.
Like standing in the middle of a carnival at the Saturday night. Season 2, busy, lots of characters, people vying for attention. He went on to say this.
Everyone was a comedian trying to justify why they were there.
Everyone was a comedian trying to justify why they were there. In this scene, for this episode, Noel Christmas, played by Kevin Frank, is featured, as is Helmet, who's played by B.J. Woodbury, I think was his name. And both Kevin Frank, who played Noel Christmas, was in a comedy troupe, and B.J. Woodbury was a stand-up comic. So these are guys who are not regular, experienced television actors. These guys are used to being on stage and commanding the attention of an audience, which means big movements, big sounds, trying to impress a live crowd, which is different than being a television actor in a sort of sitcom environment. And I think that's what Pat was talking about. You're going to notice these guys are trying to one-up each other, make things happen, stand out. It's almost like they're applying for an acting job while performing on the show, and I think it comes across. So let's go ahead and roll that.
Is he dead? If he's dead, I'm in big trouble. Big trouble. Oh, he's alive. Okay, all right, he's alive. Oh no, he's alive.
How come Helmet's not sleeping in his cabin?
He's unconscious.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah, it seems somebody bashed him over the head with this club from that bag.
Oh, it was you, wasn't it? Oh, no. Oh, in my opinion, no. That was an error in judgment. When he wakes up, he's gonna grab you by the ankles and make a wish.
Well, it was his fault.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
okay,
yeah, everyone's supposed to use a password.
Sure.
Doesn't anybody get my memo?
Oh, yeah, we get your memos. We just don't read them. Oh. Maybe what you should do is send out memos saying, hey, read my memo. Well, that's not gonna work.
So, Noel, you shoot another lodge member here?
He brained Helmet with a golf club.
Oh, for gosh sake. What is par for Helmet's head?
It was his fault. He didn't use the password.
I'm just gonna go get some ice, because when he wakes up, he's gonna be sore.
Yeah, he's right. If I was you, Noel, I'd be out of here when he wakes up.
Starship entry 222. Book a flight to Rio and book a hospital room. Remember to cancel one of them.
Oh, what happened? Someone forgot to yell 4?
No, Helmut forgot to yell the password.
Oh, password. There's a fun game. Not nearly as fun as golf, though. Well, I'm out of here. Well, that's odd. My bag feels 1 club lighter. The putter's missing by the sound of it. Oh, no. Oh, no. My Fuzzy Zeller putter's missing. My autographed Fuzzy Zeller putter. Oh, my lucky autographed Fuzzy Zeller putter has been stolen. Oh, my aluminum headed lucky autographed Fuzzy Zeller putter has been stolen in broad daylight. Do something. No, you're head of security. Do something, quick.
I did. I implemented the system of passwords.
Oh, good, Noah. Oh, good old Noah. Good. You find them, all right? When you find them, let me just have 1 minute with them alone. That's all I need. I will tear a divot out of their hide the size of a throw rug. I paid $500 for that club. Who knows what it's worth now?
Well, Bob, you'd be surprised. Sometimes when I'm sleeping outdoors at night,
Sometimes.
I count all the stars that I can see that are, in sight. It takes a long time, and it's pretty hard.
H-A-R-D.
And I start thinking, hey, if I'm not the one that started the argument, why am I sleeping out in the yard? This week on the Handyman Corner, we're going to show you what you can do with an old fridge. You know, a fridge is kind of like a kid. Even when they don't work, you hate to throw them out. So they end up sitting out on the back porch full of beer. And the same thing happens to fridges. So I say to myself...
I was going to pause it for a quick second. I just wanted to mention, just quick, that even though the lobby scenes... Again, it's not that bad, I know. But even though the lobby scenes have a lot of busyness and they kind of seem a bit odd compared to the rest of all the Red Green seasons. One thing Max and I both noticed when we watched season 2 is the handymans and the adventures and the campfire songs. A lot of it is really good stuff, and we don't watch it as much. So it's interesting to see these things that we maybe don't, because we don't watch this season as much. We don't know them as well. So it's almost like watching some things for the first time. Particularly pay attention in this handyman corner to my dad's amazing use of a pickaxe. I think he's found his true medium when he works with this pickaxe. The pickaxe and the sledgehammer, I must say. A question from Jalen I see here says, were any of the segments that carried over from season 1 leftover recordings, or did they record new songs, etc. for season 2? It's funny, Jalen, because you're not the first person to ask me that. Actually, Jordan, who sent in that picture with his license plate cover, asked me the same thing a couple times, because it does look to me as well like my dad looks younger in this handyman. His beard looks shorter, and it looks like maybe a season 1 leftover. But my dad assured me, I've asked him pointedly a few times now, there's no carryover stuff. They didn't have the budget to film extra things. There was no carryover from one season to another. I think what ended up happening was they would film some things very early in the season, and then it might be 6 months before they filmed another thing that's in the same episode. And so that explains why sometimes he looks more like he did in season 1, because it was just filmed earlier, like that previous year, if that makes sense. So as far as my dad's concerned, there were no carryovers, but it does look like it a little bit. Okay, here we go.
Myself, what do you do with an old fridge, eh? Can't you make something out of that? How about another appliance? How about making it into a dishwasher? Okay, so the first thing you need to do is to create a hole for your water coming in. So you go up to your fridge and you measure down about an arm, okay? Now, if you don't believe that you have a standard size arm, you could use half a leg. All right, now you want to just drill a hole in there. time is kind of the essence here. All right, our water supply will go in there. Now, as far as the water goes, just a normal garden hose hooked up to your normal garden hose outlet. We don't get fancy here, we just get effective. There we go. That brings back a few memories. All right, now you want to disperse the water inside the fridge. You know, dishwashers have a lot of jets and so forth that sprinkles water around. How about staying with our garden motif here and installing a sprinkler? What you do is just maybe mount this up in here, maybe put this one down on the bottom. You know, it's pretty well wide open. I don't like that style. I like to be a little more creative. Take your hose, put a real good knot in there. And then you want to water seal everything up. So you use duct tape on the end of the hose, and I would even wrap duct tape around where the hose goes actually into the unit. And now, when you turn the water on, the water's got nowhere to go. So what you do is grab a small pointy screwdriver, maybe just sharpen her up a little, and just punch a few holes right into the hose. And now you're ready to throw the dishes in there. Okay, they're all loaded up there. Cutlery can go right nicely into the door. And if you are upset about this ugly-looking thing on the side, you can put this side of the fridge against the wall. And now we'll just put our detergent in there, throw that into the butter tray. Okay, close her up. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna just throw a little chunk of duct tape on there. You know me, Mr. Safety. Okay, I'll just go out and turn the hose on and we can start washing dishes. Should be done now, I guess. Oh, boy. Isn't that something? Cutlery's okay, but the dishes seem to have melted here. Oh, no, wait. All right, maybe we made the knot just a tad too hefty on this. We might have maybe the sprinklers was a better way to go, but it works. And I'm amazed. So remember, if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. This would probably be better for washing tools.
Give me a second. Oh, you'll be fine. Listen, you're pretty handy. Can you straighten that thing out? No, for goodness sakes.
It is autumn, sitting in a duck blind, shotgun raised, sighting down the barrel. A duck floats closer and closer. Boom, I blow its plastic head off. If you'd been squatting here in the cold dampness since 6 this morning, you'd be bored enough to shoot your decoys too. Harold, what's the password?
Well, what time is it?
2:30.
2:30. 2:30. Okay, that's between 2 and 3. So this is tomorrow's list. Okay, all right. Hold on. Assassination.
Okay, assassination.
Well, it's okay, Uncle Red. Noel's not even here. He's hiding from Bob and Helmet.
Oh, okay, good. Well, Helmet is up and about, but you can't remember his name or what he should have been wearing, which is the same thing, Helmet. Kind of an unusual name, and you know, I used to think his parents were German, but it turns out they were in a motorcycle gang. Anyway, Bob Stuyvesant is making everybody's life a living hell around here, looking for this putter. I mean, what's the big deal? It's only a putter. I mean, it's not like it's a lucky hat. Anyway, between Helmet's head and Bob's one-track mind, Noel's caught between a rock and a hard place.
I'd sure hate to be Noel right around now.
Well, Harold, I'd hate to be you anytime. So Bob is turning the whole lodge upside down looking for this putter.
Why is it that men get so emotional about their possessions and cars, and yet they treat their loved ones with such indifference?
Oh, Harold, give it a rest, will you? Take us into the next segment.
Oh, yeah, okay. Uncle Red, though, I was just wondering, you know, I didn't want to ask you in front of the guys because I didn't want to seem like sexually naive or something, you know. But I was wondering, what is a fuzzy Zeller?
Well, it's one of those cover things that golfers use on their clubs to protect them.
Oh, yeah, well, they sell those and they wash them at school.
All right, so I just wanted to pause there a quick sec. I saw a question from Zach saying, how many of the Handyman Corner creations actually functioned as things rather than having staged results? That's a great question. We get asked that from time to time. It's a very difficult one to answer because a lot of the Handyman Corners, especially in the later seasons, were so complex that certain parts of them worked very well, and then other parts often would not work at all without a staged result. So it's kind of a difficult question to answer. Generally speaking, though, the Handyman Corners tended to have some kind of logical, physical, property to it or logic to it that made it kind of make sense. I remember, I think it was first season when we did the gull-wing door. We removed a regular door from a car and then reattached it on to the roof, and then used the garage door opener attaching to the roof of the car, coming down, the chain coming down, grabbing the bottom of the door and pulling it up. Now that one on the show, it looked like it was just duct tape to create the hinge, the attachment of the top of the door, but I think actually there was some welding going on underneath that to make it fit. But there was enough, like the leverage and the sense of the thing was good enough that it kind of sort of worked the way it was supposed to work. And there were others along the way like that. But most of the time, I would say there's a few skilled guys on the crew who could make these things work and make it look like it was doing what it was supposed to be doing. And that's kind of the way that it went. Okay, I also just wanted to mention here, we have a scene coming up with Helmet again. And again, season 2, it's a bit of an acquired taste, but something else to watch for, which I think Pat really did a good job of talking about last week in an interview, was one of the good things about season 2, and my dad, I remember when I started writing for the show, and he would tell me about writing for comedy, you have to expand. You have to widen your lane. In other words, make sure you don't get pigeonholed that you can only make this kind of joke. Because after the 4th or 5th joke you make, there's nowhere to go. So you want to make it nice and wide what you can have comedy about, where you can go with your comedy, and what kinds of things you can make jokes for. And one good thing about season 2 is with all these characters, it widened what kinds of jokes we could make on the show. And even though most of these characters didn't last past this season, you can see in some of them the sort of roots of characters that many of you probably know from later seasons. For instance, there's a character on season 2 called Murray, who's like this kind of cheap, kind of smarmy, sleazy shop owner. And you can see how he's the sort of genesis or the original, the pre-version of Dalton Humphrey later on, who's the store owner. I always, even though Helmet is this great big guy, he's kind of the biker gang guy, and he loves his mom, kind of a criminal element almost on the show. To me, he's kind of a precursor to Mike Hammer, who's physically his opposite, but it's kind of, that's where that character sort of, you could tell, my dad is thinking that way, and how can we get a character to do that? Noel Christmas, who's this puny, wimpy, scared security guard, you see, he doesn't last, but later on we see a guy like Ed Frid, who's an animal security patrol, whatever he was, guy, who was deathly afraid of animals. And so you saw that juxtaposition of this fraidy cat who had this job where he was supposed to be brave, kind of started with Noel, but then came to real fruition with Ed Frid. So as you watch this season, as you watch this episode, try to look for that, hints of characters and types of jokes that we see in later seasons. Okay, that's enough of me.
How's it going, Douglas? What can I do for you?
No, it's Red.
Well, go jump in the water. It'll cool down.
No, I meant I'm Red. You call me Douglas.
No, I didn't, Glenn.
Oh, all right, all right. Well, Helmut, do you have any idea who or what hit you on the head this morning?
Well, I don't have time for your head now. I got a pump here and need servicing, young lady.
Oh, well, that's good, because you're one guy who can fix things, Helmut.
You know, my mom used to hit me like that. Help me sleep. You know, a cup of warm milk and a 2x4.
Oh. Well, Helmut, do you think you could straighten up this putter? I have no idea how this happened.
Do you have a mother, Dwayne?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I have one of those. You're not going to call me Harold, are you?
Do you call her a lot, your mother?
Well, now, a lot is a funny expression, Helmut. If you mean more than once a year, then no. But you know, if I called her more often, I don't think we'd be as close.
No, I don't call my mom as often as I should either.
Yeah, Helmut, you live with your mother.
Well, that's no excuse. I could call. I could make the time. Doesn't she look like Mamie Eisenhower?
All right, yeah. Do you think you could straighten that out? And Bob would really appreciate it, Helmut.
Well, I don't know, Mamie. Aluminum head. The shaft might just snap when I try to straighten it out. That'll happen, you know. Mental fatigue.
Well, if it happens, it happens. We got nothing to lose at this point, Helmut.
Okay. Well, I was afraid that'd happen.
Yeah, they just don't make them like they used to, huh? I'll tell you, that's one sturdy pump you got there, though.
Thanks. Do you mind if I go call my mother?
No, you go ahead. I'll see you later.
Okay, say hi to Red for me.
Yeah, right. And you say hello to your mother.
Right. Hey, Mom! Dad says hello!
Bill told me to meet him at the top of the cliff there. He was going to do a little rappelling, so I thought he would be climbing up, but he was coming up and look. Oh, kind of scared. He scared me, you know. Anyway, Bill had all the ropes, and this is a real interesting kind of sport. It's I'm not sure how old this is. What you do is you take a piece of rope, and there's a technique. Of course, Bill, you can throw that down. Yeah, and it's the way you wind the rope around your body. It's got to go under both legs, yeah. And then it goes around, under, and then up and through. Up and through. Pull that tight. No, he's all right. Okay, you got to tell. Communication is a big part of the game, as it is with so and then he winds that around, and now you dropped him. Now he's ready to go. But you know, Bill started to think there's something. He thought there was something he hadn't done, and couldn't. But what it was is he'd forgotten to tie the end to the tree. Which was unfortunate. I think we got down there a little faster. And then he wanted me to throw him some kind of a grappling hook so that he could hook it onto the rope and then throw the rope back up and we could sort of start over. So I didn't have a grappling hook. All I had, of course, was an anchor. Can't believe I missed him. So he picked up the anchor, and then what he's going to do is tie that onto the rope, and then this way he can throw me the rope back up, and then I'd have the rope, and then so I was a little wondering about throwing this up, but you know, Bill, he's confident, you know, with no reason to be, really. Now you give her another try. Up she goes. Up this time he's going to really. There we go. Oh! Boy, that was lucky. So you know, that's enough of that. He asked me to throw him down another rope, which of course I did. But here again, I hadn't really tied it to a tree, but I was going to hold it and kind of balance him out. But one way or another, we were going to get Bill back up the cliff. And once he started with the bouncing and so on, it started to go a little better, and he started to really make some progress. And pretty soon he was right up on top. And one thing about Bill, if he doesn't get it right the first time, he just doesn't have the brains to quit. So anyway, up he comes, and it's got a little bit of foliage there, but just something to start a conversation at a party, really. Another rope. Now, here we go. Now we're going to... First step one, Bill? Tie her to the tree. I'm not going to make that mistake twice. Bill never makes the same mistake twice. Yeah, he's only been married the one time. Now he comes back, and he's got the rope. He's even got it wound around correctly, and I took that off. I didn't figure he'd want to bring in any television stations on his way down. Throw that over the side there, Bill, and then he's all set. He's all set. Got her tied to the tree, and and you know, of course, now he's sensitive. He's got a real good tree there. Look at this. Yeah. Oh, looks good. and away. But you know, the thing with trees is you can never tell by looking at a tree just exactly how healthy. And over, this was, boy. Oh, and there goes the tree. Oh. Boy, that was unfortunate, wasn't it? But he's okay, and one thing about Bill, he lives to repel one more day.
Just wanted to pause real quick. There's a question there from the Ferb guy about, was the narration for Adventures with Bill improv? And the answer is yes to that. Those narrations weren't written. I believe in these first few seasons, before we had a live audience, my dad would just do that in an audio room, sort of live afterwards, but it wasn't written. And then if you ever were lucky enough to come to a taping, or unlucky enough, depending on whether you like the show or not, you would have seen, especially at our later on in our CBC days, we would tape the studio stuff in front of the audiences, but we would also play the adventure film, the Handyman Corner, anything that we had filmed outside beforehand. We would show those on television screens and record people's laughter and reaction to them. And for the adventure films, my dad would actually come out and stand beside a microphone for the adventure film in front of the audience and record that narration live. So they got to see him just kind of winging it as he watched it, which was always kind of fun. Okay, here we go.
Bazooka!
Enter!
Man, what is with these violent passwords, Harold? Decapitation, bazooka. Before that, it was napalm, galignite.
Well, I think, see, it's all in Noel's vocabulary. It reflects his personality. You can tell a lot about a person by their vocabulary, you know.
Oh, Harold, don't be such a guy who knows stuff. Smart guy. Anyway, this golf club situation is coming to a head. An aluminum head. Noel's been skulking around all day with Bob's putter between his legs. But he says he's going to have everything straightened out by tonight's meeting.
Well, you should just tell the truth and let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, but these chips may be bits of Noel.
It's meeting time, Uncle Red. That's the call of the wild possum. Let's get down there, because maybe, like, Noel's going to be dragged off to jail or maybe beaten up or something like that, you know? I don't want that to happen. But, if it does, I don't want to miss it.
Boy, every once in a while I get a glimpse that there may be hope for that boy. Excuse me a minute. Sit down, everybody. The floor recognizes Bob Stuyvesant.
Thank you, Red. Someone here has taken my putter and done God knows what with it. Something sick, I'm sure. Now, I've asked for help, and no one has helped me. No one except Noel. When I needed him, he was there. That's right. Set up security checks and passwords. Now, unfortunately, no one cares the way Noel does. So I've decided to offer a $400 reward for the name of the criminal who swiped my lucky putter.
No.
Shut up, Sticky. I said that first. Sit down. Don't even know I said that. I can explain. I said it. Sticky.
Order. Settle down.
So.
Hey. Noel says he can explain it.
Sure. No problem. I did it for Bob's own good. I did, because, here I have some scorecards from golf games you played last week. And this was not a lucky putter. This is a cursed putter. And that autograph was not Fuzzy Zeller's. It was forged. I checked it. Forged by Satan.
Whoa, wow, just like a Metallica video.
So, Bob, I was just, helping you out there. You just take your reward money and buy yourself a real lucky putter. Not like that other one. But on a lighter moment, I would just like to, I went to smash that thing against the wall, and it was so inaccurate, it missed and hit the helmet right in the head.
What?
Well, what did I come over here for, Douglas?
Douglas?
Oh, Helmut, you were just going to do your impression of Mamie Eisenhower.
I was?
Yeah. And you were going to dedicate it to your mom.
Oh, Mom.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so if there's no further business, Bill? No, okay, then I'm going to now turn it over to Helmut to supply the evening's entertainment.
All right, Helmut. Thank you very much.
Thank you. First, I would like to dedicate this to my mom. And I would like to do my rendition of Mamie Eisenhower welcoming Dwight back from the war. Hi, Dwight. It's me, Mamie.
I'm glad to see Noel standing up and taking responsibilities for his lies. I certainly hope it's not a precedent for the rest of us, though. Anyway, if my wife is watching, I'll be coming straight home after the meeting, and I'll be bringing your anniversary gift, depending on which stores are open. I know the 25th is silver and the 50th is gold, and this is our 29th, which I believe is donuts. So I'll be bringing 29 honey glazed donuts or thereabouts, depending on traffic. So until next time, on behalf of myself and Harold and the whole gang up here at Possum Lodge, keep your putter in your bag, and oh yeah, keep your stick on the ice.
Ooh, where did you get those medals? They look very impressive. What is that one for? Oh, really? You courageous man. And what's that one for? Oh, you did, single-handedly. Oh, very nice.
Boy, this is too much!
All right. Well, there we got through. I didn't even finish my flask. We got through our season 2 episode. Well done, everyone. You guys did a good job. Bonnie said Helmut could have been a character that worked out in later episodes. Yeah, you know what? He was pretty good, actually. I think he would have stepped on some toes with Mike Hammer later on, because I think they were definitely in Lager episodes. Yeah, I agree with that. Honestly, does Bill ever talk? I don't think he ever talks in the Red Green Show. I think he is silent the whole time. Yeah, even you meant in later episodes. Yes, you did. Okay, so thank you for all sticking with us for our season 2 episode 1, and next week we're going to be doing season 3 episode 1, so we get to see the changes that are made for that season. But in the meantime, I was thinking it's got to be time for our giveaway, right? So tonight, what I'd like to give away is a digital copy of our campfire songs. So I have it's an MP3 file, and it has every single campfire song on the show ever, back to back to back to back to back to back. And I'm going to email it to whoever wins our giveaway. Okay? So the way the giveaway is going to work is we are going to set up a keyword. Now, these giveaways have a way of not working the way I want them to. So we're going to see how it goes here. Oh, I can see another question. Mr. J. Ramal says, how long was the show off the air after season 2? It actually didn't miss a season. My dad managed to convince a TV station in London to air it. And so I think it was maybe a few months, but it wasn't like a whole year or so in between or anything like that. But you know what? Next week when I talk season 3, I'll come with that answer. All right, so we're going to do giveaway and our keyword. So in order to win the giveaway, you've got to type in this keyword. I'll show you how this works here. Actually, I want to show you this first. I just got this right now. Can you guys see that? Somebody emailed this to me and they said, hey, you talked about the bumper sticker. I have a bumper sticker. Here's a picture of it. Here's a picture of it. And I put it, there it is. Yeah, that's the original bumper sticker. Look what good condition that one is still in. Holy cow. Whoever sent that to me, David something, sent that to me. I think you could make some money on eBay with that. I'm just saying, you know? Okay. Okay, let's get rid of that. We're going to go to that. So this is our Nightbot giveaway. So in order to enter into our campfire song giveaway, printed in CA, yeah. You're going to type in the word camp. C-A-M-P, camp. And I'm just going to see if this works, because I have no idea. Also, I'm going to bump our subscriber luck up to 5 times for you subscribers in chat. And people just type in camp. It's not case sensitive, so you can do a small C or a big C or all capitals if you really feel like shouting. You think that's going to give you good luck. Or if you just want to whisper it in small letters, that's fine too. It should work. Oh, I see it. Nightbot is registering the people typing camp. You only have to do it once, so don't feel like extra camps are going to give you a bonus bump. I will ask whoever wins the award, if afterwards I'm going to end the stream, but if you could just hang around and chat for a couple minutes so that I can whisper you and get your email address so I know where to send the campfire songs. All right, I'm going to give it another 10 seconds or so just to make sure everybody who wants it types in camp. I think we're pretty good. Okay. So I'm going to try to do my countdown this time and then not have it show in chat because of the delay before I even start the countdown for you guys. Okay, so in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Our winner is Bearskin Rug. Oh my goodness. Bearskin Rug. You know what? Let me tell you something. Bearskin Rug has been logging his hours in this channel, and I can't think of a more deserving recipient. Well done, Bearskin Rug. Now you have to listen to all the campfire songs tonight before you go to bed. Congratulations. How was the timing that time? I counted down from 10, and then I counted to 10 in my head, and then I rolled it. Was it pretty close to 0 that time? All right, Bearskin, congratulations. Well done. Stick around. I'll get your email address, and we'll make sure we get you those campfire songs. Toot sweet. Timing was good? Yes. Okay. Just stick around and chat, Bearskin, and I'll whisper you, and we'll get you all sorted out. So everybody, thanks again for being here for Season 2, Episode 1. Tomorrow we are going to do more of a block episode, not hosted. So it's going to be 12 episodes, the second half of Season 5. Next week we're going to be doing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday again. Tuesday and Thursday are going to be the blocks of episodes. It'll be Season 6. And next Wednesday night at 9 o'clock we'll be doing the live hosted stream of Season 3, Episode 1. So thank you all for being here. Appreciate the input, the questions, and all that good stuff. And yeah, thank you guys for hanging out. And until next time, keep thick on the ice.